This week in the conversation, I have the privilege to welcome out of New York, author, poet, Jaymee Veney. She's the award-winning writer out of the Black Writers Competition. So it's really an honor for me to meet her and to talk to her. But before we get into the video, I just want to remind everyone that it's important to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you do, don't forget to click notification bell so that way every time a video is posted, it'll go directly into your portable. So let's get started. Again, my name is Ardain Isma, and I'm here with an award-winning author, Jaymee Veney.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about her fantastic book for which she won an award titled Coming of Age, whatever that means. So Jaymee, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone watching, and thank you for having me.
Okay, great. Would you please, Jaymee, tell the viewers of CSMS Magazine who is Jaymee Veney?
Whew, that's a loaded question already. Jamie Vinay is a wellness coach, an athlete, an author, a teacher. My whole platform, my life, my career is just inspired by wanting to help people, wanting to motivate people to be better versions of themselves. So I do it in the classroom, I do it in my writing, I do it in my coaching sessions. I've been through a lot of traumatic things, and I've come out on the other side of them, thankfully.
Yeah.
And so I really just want to help people do the same and just realize that they're not alone, or that they're not the only person that has gone through, some of the things that I have gone through. So
okay. I can see also you mentioned on the synopsis of your book, many of the characters actually would represent part of some point of your life.
yes.
And also you say, I want you to clarify this for me, Jaymee. You say that Coming of Age, whatever that means, is a book written for connection, solitude, and understanding. Can you please elaborate for our viewers?
Of course. So I don't write self-help books, really. I don't write, if you do this, you're going to be great. So Coming of Age, whatever that means, is a book of short stories, each one having a different character written in the third person that represents a piece of my life.
Right.
But I write it in a way that allows the reader to resonate with it. So I'm not just telling you a story or telling you my story. You can really connect the pieces. So like, high schoolers can read it because there are high school chapters. Someone in their 20s can read it because there are chapters about being, 21 or 22. Someone who is struggling with like coming out can read it because that's one of the chapters, So it's not written for one specific type of person. Right. It's written for someone who needs to feel like they're not alone, who needs that connection. And the book might be the only thing that you can connect to. And that's what I want.
Okay. So in essence, that's where you also infuse solitude and understanding in it.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things where you sit down and you read it and you're like, oh, I get where she's coming from because this happened to me. Or I can break pieces apart of this story because I resonate with this. So, that's where the solitude, feeling like you are connected to the story, solid with the story, like you can embody yourself or see yourself in the characters. That's what I wanted.
Okay. Now they say also in literature, these two words, solitude and loneliness, tend to be a little bit different. Do you agree?
I think that they're different. I think in the outside world, solitude and lonely can be synonymous. I think in the literature, solitude means more of like grounding and literally being one with something, and even being able to sit alone with the character or with something, but not feel lonely.
There's something you say that really you warn the reader. You said there's some trigger warnings while reading this book.
Yes.
Because there's some of the chapters allude to sexual assault, physical abuse, and even suicide. these are so many things that you've been through in your life. You're so
Yes.
young.
I know. I get that a lot. And oftentimes when I tell people, they just kind of look at me like, this all happened, or did you just think about it? But yes, my first encounter with sexual assault happened when I was 14, and again when I was 18. The domestic violence happened when I was 16 at the hands of a partner I was dating, and the self-harm, suicidal tendencies, things of that nature started at 12 and ended at like 25. And for the record, I'm 28. So that gives you the timeline of my life.
You know, it's just like one pile over the other. So on top of each other.
Yeah.
You know, but you come out strong, and that's what I like.
Yes.
And you know what? There's a great writer, also a great statesman, whom I'm sure you know is Nelson Mandela.
Yes, of course.
He said that what makes the character great is not because of the fact that you never fall, but because of your ability to rise each time you fall.
Yes. And a lot of my chapters, not even away from the book, we can talk about me personally. There were times when I thought that I was just going to crumble, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be here, and everything is just you can't see the other side sometimes. And so now that I've obviously come out on the other end and written about it, but even reflect on it, I'm just really, really happy that I had some books or some people, or even like some teachers that helped me see that there was a way out of what I was feeling, and that I wasn't going to feel this forever. And I want to provide that same. I want to provide that same thing to my readers and to anyone that I come across.
Right.
I don't ever want someone to feel like they are drowning, or like whatever they're going through is going to swallow them.
Right.
Because I am proof that you do not have to be swallowed by the dragon that is like surrounding you. Like you can.
I like your character as a strong young woman. You know.
Thank you.
Be my daughter. You're very strong. I like that. So, Jamie, let me ask you something. How difficult was it for you to pen this story?
There were a lot of tears. I'm not gonna lie. There's an emotional aspect of having to write this story, and so there were a lot of tears and looking back on it. And there was a lot of like, I can't believe this happened. Right. Especially because I'm in a different space now. I'm just like this. It almost feels like I'm watching someone go through it again, and not like I've been through it.
Right.
But then on the flip side of that, there's an aspect of anger that I felt when I was writing it.
Right.
Because I'm thinking about someone who tried to hurt me, but I'm also thinking about the response of the people around me. And when you're 16, you have caregivers, and so I'm thinking of the response to people who were older than me, who were around me that didn't.
They should have at least prevent these things from happening.
Right. And so there's a part of me that was angry, because I'm just like, I don't want to cast blame because it's been 13 years since some of these things happened, but I'm also just like, you should have protected me. Correct. And you didn't. Mm-hmm. And now, as I'm writing it, I'm just like, okay, I'm writing it because it's therapeutic, it's cathartic, but I'm angry because I'm in a stage now where I have to reparent myself, and I have to be the adult for myself and for other kids. And that doesn't always sit well with me. It makes me angry sometimes that I had to go through that, and then now have to protect myself, and then heal myself, and then reparent myself.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that writing the book was part of the healing process?
Absolutely. There were some things in here that I have not spoken about to anyone in over a decade. And I wrote it down, and people were able to be like, oh my God, this happened to you. And I can loosely talk about it, but it also inspired me to go back to therapy to actually deeply dive into it and heal some of those wounds. So it started a deeper part of my healing process, for sure.
And you know what? You're not the first author. I remember some months back speaking to an author out of Texas, and she was telling me exactly the same thing you're saying now, Jamie. She wrote a fiction piece based on her own personal life. And she said to me, the writing of this book was some sort of a therapy for her too.
Mhm.
Painful, painstaking process, but at the end of the day, she felt somehow she had managed to overcome, to sit in the top of the mountain.
Yes.
Is that how you
Yes.
feel? Okay.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The book just came out in June, and it's the middle of August and whatnot. So I'm very happy in knowing that I have now acknowledged and released some of the things that have happened, but I'm in like that middle stage where I'm in like a stage of grief, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm grieving for my younger self now that I've told this story, and now I'm like, okay, good, I've released it. Now I can cry. Now I can be sad, and then I can get past it.
Okay. Okay. So, how did you feel when you got the call that the book, Coming of Age, has won the prize?
Oh gosh. So I was in the Black Writers Workshop book fair, the virtual book fair. And so I
Right.
was just, hanging out, browsing around, whatever, and they announced the winners. And I looked down at the book and was like, wait,
Right.
that's mine. And my partner
Wow.
was sleeping. It was like, it's what is it, Eastern Standard Time here. So it was like,
Wow.
I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. People were sleeping, and I was like, guys, I want it. It's me. I looked back at the title, and I looked back at my book, and then I saw my picture, and I was
Wow.
like, and it felt so empowering because
Exactly.
it's my story.
Your story.
Like I would have loved, if I wrote a different, like, any book that wins an award is beautiful. But the fact that I submitted this chapter that is based off of my life, and it won an award that people from all over the country
Wow.
applied, I was just like, oh my
Wow.
God, I won.
You won this one.
I wanted to cry, but then I also was like, give me a glass of wine. But then I also like, I should go to sleep because I have to work tomorrow. I had
Jimmy,
so many feelings.
who encouraged you to submit?
Honestly, my partner.
Okay.
Um, I had come across it, and I was like, I don't really know if my writing's good enough. And I told her about it, and she was like, you should submit a chapter from your new book. And I was like, oh, which one? She was like, any of them will work. Like, all of them are good. And I was like, she's my partner, and she's going to tell me my writing is good. and so I took the work from the second book, and I was like, you know what? Let me submit it, see what happens. No harm, no foul.
Right.
And even in like the coming weeks, and like I think a month later, I was like, I don't think I got it. I haven't heard anything. I'm sure I didn't win. And then a month, 2 months, no, yeah, 2 months, because it was due May 1st. And so in like June, when I had my book signing, I was like, I don't think I won, but like, it's fine. I'm having my book event. It's cool. 2 months later, at the end of July, I'm hearing that I won after having like some doubt. And I was just so overjoyed. And she was just like, I told you were going to win.
Okay, so Jimmy, listen, I know, when did you truly realize that you were going to be a writer?
Sometime in the middle of last year. I've had a blog for about 2 years on WordPress, and I was just, spewing out feelings and stories and gratitude and travels, and just like, I never really had a niche. I was just going about my life, and people liked it. But there's always that aspect of like, oh, okay, it's a quick read. You like this one, but will you like the next one, sort of thing.
Okay.
And I've always loved writing. I had like a poetry piece published in high school in like the newspaper from, God, 10 years ago. But I don't think that I really thought that I would be an author literally until I started writing the first book. It like didn't register that I was going to become an author. And then the book was done, and I was like, well, do I publish it? If I publish it, I'm going to be an author. And even after I published it, I was just like, okay, cool. I published a book. That doesn't mean anything. If people are like, that means you're an author. You have written a book. And it's out in the world. You're an author.
You know what?
Like,
because not everybody can write a book. I'm not saying that everyone can write, but to write a book, you have to have some sort of a discipline.
Yeah.
That's why I resent the fact that some individuals would trying to belittle a document like a book. because they don't know
Yes.
exactly what it takes
It
to
is
put together a
hard.
manuscript. It's not easy.
Yeah. And even, because with my first book, I was like, oh, it's only like 80 pages. I don't know if it doesn't qualify as a book because it's not 500 pages. And people are like, I can't write 80 pages. I can't write 5 pages. I can't stay on topic for a paragraph. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Then my second book was longer. And they're like, you just wrote two. And the second, like, there's always these things of like, it's not long enough to be a book, or how long does
Right.
a fiction book have to be? And you're just like, but right, what you're saying, not everyone can write a book. Not everyone can write a term paper, let alone write a book.
You're right. I like talking to you. Let's do, okay, now, every time in the conversation I have a guest, at some point we stop talking about literature and we switch to something cozy. We human, okay? So I'm sure you can't be a writer without being an avid reader. I'm sure you read a lot also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who you would consider as your favorite author?
Gillian Flynn, hands down. Gillian Flynn, I love her. I think all her work is perfect.
Okay, hands down, Jamie Vinay. I've never had someone to say it so easily,
I am obsessed with all of her work. And then when I was younger, I loved Roald Dahl. You could not get me to put down anything that was Roald Dahl. I don't care what reading level it was. I just wanted to read all his work.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So now let's go to something even cozier.
Okay.
Now, as a young woman, I'm pretty sure that you love cuisine, right? Oh. So what is your favorite cuisine? Especially you in Brooklyn. I've been in Brooklyn. I have so many relatives in Brooklyn. So.
I eat everything.
Everything.
Oh God. I don't know if I have a favorite. I literally eat everything.
Everything.
I think, okay. If I had to choose.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay. I think it's like Jamaican food.
Yeah. You love Jamaican food?
Yeah. Right. It's like, give me some like stew peas over white rice. Okay. Or some like
oxtail
pasta. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Oxtail is so fattening and I love oxtail. I'm just like, yeah, oxtail. And add the gravy to the rice. Yeah.
The Jamaicans also they have some good fish also. They're very good at.
They have like this teriyaki or sweet and sour salmon dish with the cabbage and I just can't see just the whole country. I just want their food. The whole country.
Okay. Do you have relatives who married Jamaicans?
No, my partner's Jamaican. Oh, she's infiltrated my life, and now I just always crave Jamaican.
So you are right now a Jamaican, I would say.
Yes, I even root for Jamaica now in the Olympics. Sorry, Americans, but
you cheer for them. Wow. You don't want to say that too loud now because there's a big audience out there watching you.
Let me go find my flag. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Jamie, my next question. Listen, your next project?
Yes. So I've rewritten my first book. I wanted to make it more streamlined. So I rewrote it. So that's coming out, my limited edition. Right. I'm also working on my third book. I'm not going to give you the title because I don't want you to steal it. But it's going to be a realistic fiction story. And it's going to have components of not necessarily my life, but a lot of the silent traumas that Black girls go through that are not often spoken about or that are not often acknowledged until it's too late. So that's going to be my third book. I'm hoping to release it. Oh gosh, I just started the school year. So I'm hoping to release it in like 2022, maybe 2023. I'm not going to rush it.
Okay. Exactly.
And I'm also doing, I've just established on my platform, my coaching services. Okay. So that's something that's new, but also exciting for me just to offer.
You say coaching services. What kind of coach? What do you coach?
Wellness coaching. People call it life coaching, but that's so vague. Mine's like wellness coaching. So we walk through, whatever trauma that person has.
Right.
We go through goal setting, sort of like day-to-day planning, affirmations, and I walk them through certain processes that they can do and take with them throughout the week. It's like 4 sessions once a week for a month, and let's say one, obviously more sessions.
Did you study psychology?
I did.
Okay.
I have 4 degrees, so I studied a lot of things, but my favorite degree is my psychological degree.
That's great. Such a brilliant young woman.
Thank you.
Listen, Jamie, my really last question. You and I can talk forever.
Forever.
For the purpose of time, and we have to end the conversation. But before we go, my last question, Jamie.
Okay.
If there's one lesson that you would want to give to a young person like you, who would probably have suffered the same thing that you described in the book, what lesson would it be?
If you can find one thing in each day that brings you some sort of feeling,
Right.
latch onto it.
Right. Okay.
Because if we can find something, whether it's a plant, a person, an animal, a stuffed animal, a clothing item that brings us some sort of emotion, we can hang on for another day. And the more you hang on, you're going to realize months have passed and you've gotten past the feeling that you thought was going to swallow you whole.
You know what? I'm going to have to invite you in when the next book is published in the conversation. You're so great. You're so
Thank you.
You speak from the soul.
Yeah.
I really like that. And with that, I'm just going to say it's been such a pleasure to have award-winning author, Jamie Vinay, in the conversation.
Thank you guys so much.